FCS plays for this week. Now, a rare losing week last week for the FCS plays, going 1-3, but a remarkable record over the last 2 years: 58 wins, 34 losses. That is 24 games above 500. Outstanding record, and we have got 4 plays for you today, so let's get to them. We'll start off with UT Martin against Tennessee Tech. It's one of the weekend's bigger games. This game decides the Big South OVC title. Now, UT Martin has won at least 7 games each year since 2021. You can go back all the way to 2021. See 7 games each year, and they were a playoff team last year, but they only had 7 starters back this year for head coach Jason Simpson. He's the dad, by the way, of Bama's Ty Simpson, and he is in his 20th year here. With a mostly new roster, they started out 1-5. So you see here they did not have a good start to the season, but the Skyhawks have won 5 straight games, including an FCS Tour winner 2 weeks ago against Tennessee State when they won 26-7, minus 14.5. They are plus 92 yards per game against conference foes. I love these conference breakdowns. I love the last 4 weeks breakdowns. And, of course, your AGG is out here, which takes into account has no starting grade for any team. So if North Dakota State put up these exact same stats, North Dakota State would have a 72.0 AGG. Just keep that in mind. All right, so they are playing to an average game grade of 77.0. Tennessee Tech started 10-0 against a soft schedule. Now, Bobby Wilder's there. We like Bobby Wilder. He was the head coach of Old Dominion. Texas Tech is on a 0-4 ATS run, but they are also plus 92 yards per game against conference foes. So we got a couple of even teams here, it looks like. They play into an AGG of 70.8 in conference play. They're playing to an AGG of 77.0. Okay, we got about an even game here, it seems like. Now, the AGG has Tennessee Tech by 12.9. This is the overall AGG. Now, keep in mind, the overall AGG is the entire season, but they started slow. They're playing their best ball now. That's why I love the last 4 weeks. That's why I love the conference play AGGs. But the AGG has them by Tennessee Tech by 12.9. But the last 4 weeks AGG only has them here by 0.49. You see they're playing to a 75-1. They're playing to a 76-6. So you had 2 for the home field edge. That's 77-1. That is a 0.5 advantage here. UT Martin by 4.2. Yet they are plus 16.5 in this game. I thought these 2 teams were even when we were going through this. This is our conference AGG game of the week. Look at that. You got a team playing at conference play, plus 92, 77.0, plus 92 yards, only 70.8. So the conference AGG has UT Martin winning by 4.2, and they are a 16.5-point dog, guys. And it's a schedule strength game of the week as well. Let's take a look at the schedule strength. We've got all this for FCS information, so let's go to the schedule strength here. And we see that UT Martin comes in at number 40, and Tennessee Tech comes in at number 96. So they've compiled these stats against a tougher schedule on top of it. So you've got a conference AGG game of the week, a special strength of schedule game of the week. The Skyhawks are playing in much better form lately. We're going to call it Tennessee Tech 24, UT Martin 21. Well, I thought we had 2 even teams here, guys, and we're getting 16.5. Take UT Martin plus the 16.5. All right, your next one is South Carolina State and Delaware State. So let's put South Carolina State on the left, and we're going to put Delaware State on the right. There's South Carolina State. What's their nickname? Bulldogs. And Delaware State. Okay, let's put Delaware State on the right. There we go, the Hornets. All right, here's what we got. This game will decide the winner of the MEAC and will qualify for the Celebration Bowl. Now, South Carolina State has won the MEAC twice in the last 3 years. The Gamecocks are 8-3, and 2 of their losses were to FBS programs. See, I lost to South Carolina, they lost to USF. Those are 2 good FBS programs. They are 4-0 straight up and 3-1 ATS, plus 175 yards per game against MEAC foes. I like that. That's a good number. They get extra rest after playing last Thursday, and they were plus 7 and beat NC Central outright, 34-27, with a 454 to 306 yard edge. All right, Delaware State is led by former NFL wide receiver and first-year head coach Deshaun Jackson. The Hornets have been one of the big surprises of the FCS. The last winning season was back in 2012. Oops, wrong team. Let's go over here and take a look at that. Wow, that's a lot of red. Deshaun Jackson doing a good job. That's a lot of red there. All the way back to 2012 was the last winning season? Oh, boy, we got the stats all the way back to 2012, don't we? All the way back to 2012. Look at that, 2011 we got stats. If you're ever looking for information on the FCS, you got all that. You've got the last 6 years logs. Nobody even charts the logs. We've got the logs for the last 6 years. Actually, at 6 years, we also have 24 and 25. So, man, nobody's got that type of information. All right, they are 4-0 straight up, but only 1-3 ATS, and they're actually plus 20 yards per game against MEAC foes. So these guys are plus 175. They're plus 20. Delaware State's rushing for 277 yards per game, 6.2. But South Carolina State's got the run defense to stop them, allowing just 94 yards per game, 3.5. Gamecocks have a huge edge on D. They're allowing 308 yards per game. Delaware State, 391. They're holding foes to 31 below their average, and they're allowing foes 43 above. Keep in mind, this number's out here. This is the defensive number. If it's a positive number, that 133 means that NC Central, in all their games when they're not playing South Carolina State, averages 439 yards per game. They held them to 133 yards below their average at just 306. So you add them all up for the season, it's 31 per game. And so that's Delaware State allows 391 and 43 above what their opponents allow. They're also number 103 in our pass D rankings. And South Carolina State comes in with a good pass offense, with William Akins having an 11-3 ratio this year. Look at these yards, 428, 363, 314. Let's go take a look at the pass defense. And keep in mind, our pass defense rankings, both FBS and FCS, take into account the strength of opponent. So it's a big advantage. It just doesn't take the stats, because not all things are created equal. So they're number 103 in our pass D rankings. There's Delaware State way down there. All right. South Carolina State has played the tougher schedule. I showed you where the schedule is. It's 68 versus 113. The computer has South Carolina State by 8. The AGG says 8, and the last 4 weeks, conference AGG says by 11.1. Let's take a look at that. Last 4 weeks, they're at home, so you had 2. That's 69. You got 80. That's an 11.1. And conference play, they're only playing to a 63.2. Oh, conference play, they're out here. And the conference isn't showing, but it says by 11. South Carolina State is 6-1 in the series. That's nice. And they are used to playing in big games and have been more impressive in conference play. We're taking South Carolina State 34 and Delaware State 24. So South Carolina State minus 4.5 is your play there over Delaware State. All right, your next game, Abilene Christian against Central Arkansas. And Central Arkansas is at home. So let's go put them out here. Central Arkansas. And we'll put Abilene Christian over here on your left. All right, Abilene Christian on the left. Their nickname is the Wildcats, by the way. Central Arkansas is the Bears. Abilene Christian needs a win to clinch the UAC title, but they could miss out on the playoffs altogether if they lose this week. Now, after a 3-3 start, Abilene, did you see here, they were 3-3 to begin? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, so now you're 4-1 after that. They've won 5 of the last 6 and upset Tarleton State 31-28 plus 13.5. I guess Tarleton State's good. The Wildcats are plus 108 yards per game versus UAC foes. All 4 of their losses have come on the road. Okay? But 2 of those were against FBS teams. So they lost to TCU and they lost to Tulsa. Okay? Last week they won at Eastern Kentucky 17-10, and they were plus 177 yards per game, or plus 177 yards in that game. And they had a 23-8 first down edge. So they're in good current form. Central Arkansas is just 3-6. Now they're not in good current form. They've lost 4 in a row. The Bears are -7 and -31 yards per game. But they lost to that same Eastern Kentucky team by 21 points at home. and we're outgained by 138 yards. Abilene Christian has the edge on both offense and defense. They are minus 6.5, and the conference AGG has Abilene Christian at 85.4, and if you add 2 here, that's 71.8, so it's got them by 13.6. The last 4 weeks AGG, as you can see, these guys are hot. These guys are not. Their last 4 weeks are playing to an 87.2. That would be a 72.3. That's 14.9 for the last 4 weeks AGG. Abilene Christian wins this one by 2 scores and clinched the UAC title and a playoff berth. We're taking Abilene Christian minus 6.5. I showed you this on the regular tour. I've got one more game for you. But just a reminder, the computer, red hot, if you want to get all the computers plays, 3-1 again last week, 52-29. Once fall hits, once we get to October, 25% off. You could take 25% off inside the press box. $59, get it for $44.25. You get Phil Steele Plus for free. So don't pay the $99 for Phil Steele Plus. You got the FCS playoffs coming up. You got a lot of stuff. Don't you want to have this information at your fingertips? You could be looking at each of the teams in depth just like I am. We also have individual player stats on every single game. Right there, you can see who's been playing, who's not. We've got the last logs, and we've also got the ATS records. Look at this, all broken down over the last 7 years. All that's available on Phil Steele Plus. All right, let's get to your final game. Hey, it's a good one. It's an Ivy League game. Harvard-Yale. That is a big game. It's been a big game for a long time. We're going to put Yale on the right and Harvard on the left. These two played one time, and the game ended in a tie. I can't remember who won and who lost. And it said something like Harvard beats Yale 31-31 because it was such a big upset at the time. It was way back when. I think it was early 70s. All right, Yale is playing Harvard. All right, we got Harvard over here. I like reading about stuff like that. It's pretty interesting. This is the 141st edition of The Game, and the stakes have never been larger. The Ivy League winner receives an auto bid to the FCS playoffs, and the game decides that auto league winner. Auto bid. Harvard is 9-0. Look at these guys, 9-0 straight up, and 5-4 ATS. Did I tell you Abilene Christian, by the way, was minus 6.5? All right, let's get back to this one. Harvard's 9-0 straight up, 5-4 ATS, ranked number 10 in the FCS coaches poll. The Crimson are plus 184 yards per game in league play, or overall, and plus 169 in league play. They are coming off their 2 worst AGGs of the season these last 2 weeks right here. Yale started just 2-2, but they have both losses coming on the road versus number 4 Lehigh and Dartmouth. They've since rebounded to have 5 straight wins. The Bulldogs are led by QB Dante Reno, sorry about that. PS number 25, who transferred from South Carolina, is the son of Yale's head coach Tony Reno. A PS 25 quarterback, guys. Their D has 31 sacks in league play, led by Ezekiel Larry, who has 9.5 sacks. So they get pressure on the quarterback. Yale has won the last 3 in the series, and they're 4-1 ATS as home dogs. Harvard is 6-10 as a conference away favorite since 18. Want to see that? Let's go look. ATS records. Pull it over here. Conference away favorite. 5-9, and he's got 6-10, so they must be 1-1 this year. So 6-10 as a conference away favorite since 18. You could look this stuff up on philsteele.com. That's for every team. We've got those. Nobody else has anything like that. My computer has Harvard by 3. And the last 4 weeks AGG has Harvard by 3.4. As you see, they're not playing in great current form. 78, they're 72.6. You had 2 for a 74.6. You got them winning by 3.4. We'll take the home dog. It's a rivalry game. You got the rivalry home dog. We're taking Yale plus 7.5 over Harvard. And he's calling for a final score of Harvard 30, Yale 27. Well, there you go. There's your 4 free plays for this week. 58-34 over 2 years for these FCS plays. If you're looking for these conference championship matchups, here they go. You got 4 plays on them. And don't forget to take the regular Phil Steele tour as well if you haven't done so already. That is absolutely on fire. 21-9-1 the last 6 weeks. The quick hitters 31-14 over the last 8 weeks. And thank you for taking the Phil Steele Plus tour.